Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our channel. We are Making Light Two Humans Being. I'm Julie Hirt. With me, as always, as I always say too, is Kate Fago. On this show, on this channel, we are both intuitive. So we both work as certified soul level animal communicators and certified soul level intuitive coaches. And the two of us being intuitives and having that as a focal point in our daily lives, we're also human. So we talk a bit about what that means as we move along the human journey and being intuitive and how being human still trips us up, I guess. So today we're going to talk about overthinking. So, for example, we get signs that this is that we're on this path, or we should explore this, or here's something to think about. And we follow those signs, and then our human brains kick in and we start thinking about it and find the ways to do something else.
Talk ourselves out of it.
Yeah. So we
Oh
thought,
my God, I just got chills as you said that because
yeah,
I've just realized the last animal reading I gave on Monday was exactly that. And I had that's now 5 things that have I'll explain, but
yeah,
it's just like that was exactly the message to the human was exactly this one again.
that's wild. That's wild, which I should talk. So that's so because when we do readings, what will happen, and this really even happens when we do tandem readings in a larger group, is themes begin to emerge for the collective, meaning all the people that we touch and the greater and larger good, as well as for ourselves. So, like, my thing is trust right now. And I swear every single reading has an element of trust. And it's not, I swear, it's not me putting it in there. The guides or the animals are like, hello, ding, ding, ding to the other people, because there's this whole trust thing going on globally. It's crazy. Anyway, so Kate.
And that's just it, messages just keep coming at you, and that's the thing, you can know it's there and you can recognize and go, oh, what are the chances of that, and then you still blunder straight into the issue, don't you? I mean, that's
Totally.
so as I was explaining to Julie, and then she's like, oh my God, this is, that we should be talking about this live, because I was trying to compress a very, I don't know if it's a long and tedious, okay, it's long and tedious. So essentially, some lady out the blue, so for those of you who don't follow or do follow, but
Our
I
new,
talk
yeah.
around it, or they're new, I have, and I've got to not call it a guest house, because a guest house is such an old lady thing. So let's call it a lodge. It's a little lodge. It's a beautiful luxury lodge. It's just a little, I call it the shed. It was a joke there somewhere, because it used to be a shed, but it's beautiful. And I have had like massive bookings over the COVID period. I thought COVID would kill it because I just opened in COVID. It was, but it was every other day absolutely jam-packed, to the extent that I shut for 4 months because I could not cope. Just too much work. Then I got myself a cleaner, then I got myself somebody doing laundry, and it was the same last year. And then that's second year, and then this last year it's completely gone quiet. And I'm like, I don't know what to do about it, all of that. I'm trying not to worry about it, trying not to, and it's true that everybody says money doesn't matter, but it's easy to say that when you're all right. So we have had a lot of discussions about that, haven't we, Julie? And through the last year, I have actually ironically come to a sort of peace with the shed, because when I first did it, I was really resentful of it. I knew it wasn't my bag. It was just the only way I could see to stay at home, be at home, work from home. I'm not into hospitality. I am not that person. I loved the designing of it. I loved the creation of it. The building was a slog because I had a lot of issues with that, but making it look nice, getting the decor, and I get amazing reviews about how well thought out it is. It's a small space. It has all of this. Anyway, so I've been like, oh, what do I do? Now I've suddenly reconciled myself with it. It's a decent job, and now I've got no bookings. Like the irony of coming to terms with, actually, this is not bad living, and now I've got no bookings. I'm like, oh shit, what happens? Then this woman contacts me. I've been doing a lot of trying to be nice to myself, trying to do things I enjoy over the last couple of weeks. Gary's been away and he's been ill. I've been ill. You've been ill. I've been taking it really easy. And then out of the blue, this woman phones me from cottages.com. Long story short, I didn't know this was available to me, the service they offer, but I was like, oh my God. So I mean, it's not perfect because they do it for less money or whatever, but they will get me business. Basically, it'll be a completely different market because she's saying you should be full, you know. And so and I was sitting listening, I'm going, oh my God, like just everything I want, like same check-in days. It's either a 3-night stay or a 4-night stay or a 7-night stay. So it's always going to be a Monday and a Friday. It means that all the conflict I have around my diary, because what my problem is, when it was busy, fine, I knew what I was doing, but when it's quiet and you don't know when you're going to get a booking, you can't plan around anything because somebody can say I'm coming on Tuesday and you're like, oh fuck, so I've been really resistant about taking book. It hasn't actually slowed me down, but it's slowed me down because I'm almost closed to other business because I'm so unsure about letting people
so energetically
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I've been really, really, really trying to get on that boat of it actually has always worked out. It's always worked out. If I've had a reading or whatever, it's never conflicted with people arriving. It actually always does work out. And I've been really trying to go along with that trust of it's going to be okay. And you know what? If it's not the end of the world, because actually, if you cannot care about whether it's going to be all right or not, it's going to be all right. So I've been really trying to do that. So then this thing comes and she's basically telling me what I did not think was possible, that they can offer me that. So I'm just sitting there going, I can't believe how the universe supports me. I'm all buzzed about it. My heart is singing. I loved her. She's an animal communicator.
She is. You didn't tell me that. Oh my gosh.
No, like, do you know what I mean? It was just dum.
Yeah.
I emailed her back and said, I'm sorry, I don't think your service is what is suitable for what I need. She's went, oh no, you've got that all wrong. And then she could come the next day. What about 1:30? Oh my God, okay. So she came and she's here. We chatted for ages, and obviously I wasn't paying enough attention because we're talking about animals and stuff like that. Then, then there's this sign up, they do this incentive. Obviously, if you sign up within so many hours or whatever, you get 750 quid. And I know that's a gimmick, but it's still 750 quid. And then I read the small print, which of course I didn't get until about 5:30 at night. And then I got completely cold feet about the whole thing. Gary was a bit suspicious of it because they have, there's a word for it, this smart market, smart pricing, but it means it can go for a lot less because it's more important to be busy. But my issue with my luxury guest house is I have to hit a certain threshold, otherwise it's just not financially viable because the stuff's expensive. If somebody rips a sheet, it's 120 quid. It's not 20 quid from Walmart. It's luxury stuff. And so I have quite big expenses. And then there's the firewood, all of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what we got to when Judy said, we'll do this on camera, is I read my cards about it. So I'm all in a tizzy about it. I was really pleased about it all. And then Gary starts putting down, rightly so. He's like, well, what happens if this happens? I'm like, I don't know. What happens if this happens? I don't know. What happens if this happens? I don't know. A lot of it is about protection with Airbnb. Airbnb offer you this host protection. I have no idea if it's worth the paper it's written on, because you don't know these things until something actually goes wrong.
Right.
So card number 1, which is supposed to be setting the wider context for the question you're asking. So my question was, what the fuck? Is this a good thing or not? Is this a good thing? This is actually before I went off a cliff, right?
Wait, so what really was the question? Is this really good?
Okay. I probably didn't actually say it out loud, but it was about what do I do about this opportunity?
Okay.
And I would say if I was coaching someone else, I'd be explicit about what you're asking, but that's what I think I was asking.
That sounds good.
So this is a context within which the cards should be read. So this is sort of background. So this is the B.
Okay.
Which is all about sweet results await, is the tagline. It's not just about lots of bounty and that, but if you read it about it, it's actually all about the hive and how everybody supports each other and the fact that we're all part of a collective and that everybody all of that. So
Kate, I want to just say one thing. I just asked my guides to join because I want to see what threads they pull out. So just know.
Okay.
All right.
Oh no.
No.
No, Julie's gonna pop my bubble. Right. the bee spirit messages that sweet rewards are on their way if you're willing to get your ego out of the way and immerse yourself in the connected energy of all things. Bee spirit knows not to let a sense of being separate self get in the way of a good thing. Spirit is always producing honey. Miracle and magic are everywhere. Connect with the great hive. You're vibrating and buzzing with exquisite harmony. So all of that, right?
Yeah.
Which was how I felt when I was talking to her.
Yeah.
Right? Oh my God, there's other people who can fix this for me. This is amazing, right? Yeah. Don't have to do it all myself. The universe is supporting me. Your first action, the Bobcat, which I haven't read before. Isn't it beautiful?
Oh, life is a mist. It is beautiful. Wow.
The Bobcat says, I've got goosebumps again. The Bobcat moves furtively and mysteriously. When Bobcat spirit appears to you, she brings a powerful reminder that not all things in life can be explained or understood through the power of intellect. How is that relevant to me? I have no idea.
What? Are you serious?
That's like, it's like when Danielle says about, Danielle always, as our teacher, always used to say, I don't understand it, why I attract people who are so analytical. And I honestly didn't realize she was joking. I was like, okay. Serious? She'd go, oh, I wonder, because I would say, oh, I'm really analytical. And she's like, oh, really? I wonder why that would be, why I would attract people like that. I didn't realize that she was like that, because she doesn't appear like that at all, does she? You know, when you meet
no,
Danielle,
not at first. When you get to know her, you know that,
when you get to know her, you realize, yes, that she's actually very analytical, very much of an overthinker, much like us, and a lot of the people in the community are. But I didn't realize she was being sarcastic. I'd be like very confused by it.
Yeah.
Trying to figure things out and find logical explanations or predict what will happen based on reasons and facts will not provide you with the certainty and comfort you seek. Bobcat asks you to trust in the great mystery. Let the secrets of the universe reveal themselves to you through direct experience. Allow your vision to slip into soft focus, and you will see between the lines and observe what's been hidden there. Blah, 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 blah. Now, no matter
Look
what,
at blah, blah, blah. You like
well, it's just like, look, it's all about, it's much the same, right? No matter what, the appearance of Bobcat spirit is a sign that you're being called to trust, even when what is revealed does not agree with your need for intellectual certainty. So naturally, I have a spreadsheet. So at this point, I'm like, oh, fucking brilliant, right? Everything's sorted, really happy about it. Then Gary's doubts. Gary's a bit skeptical about it all. So then I think, well, I'll speak to my sister, because she's more likely to tell me what I want to hear.
Wrong.
And
that's why she's so awesome.
yeah.
She loves you.
Well, she knows that the shed is a source of frustration. So she's sort of saying from her perspective, well, not from her perspective, but like, why do I persist along it? Why don't I just give it up? Not give it up, she obviously understands. But anyway, it's all of that. But here's the thing. I was really happy about it all until I started reading the small print, getting worried about that, getting into the legalese. What happens if I'm at 18 months? What if I've signed up and then I decide I don't like it? This is stupid, because I've actually been I'm more of a prisoner to my own rules than I ever have been to anyone else's. And as you'll know this from giving up work, you are less free. Work gives you permission, it gives you time off, it gives you holidays, it gives you rules. When you work for yourself, you have none of those things. So I am more of a slave than I have ever been. And I'm worrying about, that they're going to put bookings in my diary 18 months from now. And, oh my God, what if I'm not free? Yeah. It's just, I just got into it. And then when I started thinking about it and worrying about it, and then there's the insurance, and then it's different, and it's this and it's that. And what if this happens? And what if that happens? And what if whatever? And then suddenly it all just seems like a really terrible idea. And now I'm completely stuck, because the reality is what I'm doing at the moment isn't working. And this other thing that I thought was so wonderful, isn't. Or is it? I don't know. And then I don't trust myself. I don't trust my judgments. And then I get scared.
Yeah.
And I'm awake at 4 o'clock in the morning because the lady wasn't available for me to ask my questions. She phoned me first thing. So background to this as well.
Lovely.
Hmm?
Yeah. That she phoned you first thing. That's so supportive.
Well, she's trying to get money out of me. I mean, I'm not, there is an element of.
Well, there is an element of community in the first card that the guides pulled that little thread about.
Yeah, and I really want to believe that, but they're running a business. I get that. What worries me is if I decide that that you're tied in basically, and any bookings that you get through them you have to honor, or there's a financial penalty, which from their perspective is fair enough.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, oh, I can't promise that far ahead. Like, why not? Like, anyway, so just background to this is somebody commented on my website, some video I'd done, and they said, oh, did you know about Mel Robbins? Have you heard of her?
Yeah.
Right, and her whole thing is all about, let me see it again, it's something about the 10-minute rule or something, or the 5-minute, how to stop screwing yourself over, the 5-second rule, the high five habit. It's all basically that as soon as you make a decision and then stop, because your brain will talk you out of it, which is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
There was this whole thing, what I was talking about with that last animal reading is a lady who the cat kept saying, well, you have all these ideas, you start doing them, and then you talk yourself out of them. It's exactly the same thing. It's like, and I sat there and said to her, when you get that feeling, that sort of excitement, that rush, that pull, that, oh my God, this is brilliant, this is amazing. See, I get goosebumps when I say that. That's what you should be listening to. That's what I got when I met Emma, and she's an animal communicator, and there's, they're going to be set check-in days and this, that, and the other. Then my head goes and goes, yeah, but it's not enough money. What if it's not enough money? Get your spreadsheet out. Let's have a look at what it costs. What happens if this happens? What happens if you're booked here? What happens if after 6 months you don't want to do it anymore? Whereas if I just trust the bee spirit and the bobcat and go, well, do you know what? If it's not for me, it just won't work out, but it's all right. It's not going to kill me financially. The only reasons I would stop doing it in the future would be because something else has come along, or my other business has taken off and I don't need it anymore, in which case the financial, that'll be a financial decision I make at the time to stop doing it.
Yeah.
Like all those things. But it's like I forewarned by my cards, and I just fucking sailed over the cliff into the hole. Knowing all the time, and actually did this self-soothing. I was awake at 4 o'clock this morning, stroking myself, trying to get the anxiety down, because I don't know, what do your guides have to say about that?
So the first thread that they pulled out was the collective or the community or something with the B card. Because I know when you and I have talked over the years, there's something about community and you wanting to be like, I know how to do, I can do this. And there's this, I remember one time we were practicing soul level intuitive coaching. This was way when I was still in Anchorage. And I know I have this image, they're bringing it back to me. You in like a little horse corral, and you've got all the fencing around you, and there's just this denial of like letting other people help, all this type of stuff. So, and this movement in 2023 in particular, from what I'm reading, like astrology wise, is this, and even just many of the leader or spiritual people that we follow, this movement towards the collective and realizing that we're here to help strengthen the collective. So like the universe, like the card, right? But also this woman and this network of people is a community, a collective, reaching out to Kate to ask them to come in to help you as well as you help them. And that to me is really kind of interesting too. So there's something there as far as the accepting the outstretched hand of the community and you joining that community. That's something there for you.
I mean, my heart said, okay, I'm a brilliant animal communicator. Oh my God.
Things,
just everything. And interestingly, she said she didn't tell anyone. I was like, okay. And because we completely understand that, don't we?
Yeah.
But, and then there was just thing after thing after thing that we had in common. And I really liked her. My heart would say, do you know what? If it all went to shit in 6 months and I couldn't do it, I'm sure we'd find a way through this.
Absolutely.
My brain, reading through the small print, goes, they'll fuck me over. they'll screw me. They'll
Right.
kill me. Like, I won't be able to do this. I can't sign this. Oh my God, it's legal. It's a document. They're holding me to something. Do you know, all these, it's like, I don't read the terms and conditions when I buy software. I don't even read the terms and conditions of my mortgages because let's face it, you read them, you go, I have no fucking idea, whatever, get it done. Right.
Yeah.
We are, if you read the side effects of paracetamol, Tylenol to you, you
Yeah.
wouldn't take it.
Right.
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 You'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? It can do that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and it's like, why can't I trust my stomach, my heart, my that? And then I had the card saying,
Don't go there. You're
don't get
good.
the spreadsheet out.
Trust life's mysteries. Yeah. Trust.
So
Yeah.
I think it actually does come down to trust, Julie, because on the one hand, I don't trust my judgment, I guess, because I think, yeah, but you're all heart, I suppose, and that would be Gary as well. You're all hearts and flowers, and you know, you've got to look at the reality of it and what happens if, I mean, he's naturally very cautious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And who's not to
and
say this isn't the reality? That's the thing. Like, who's to say that money, spreadsheets, all that stuff is the only reality? There's this whole other thing that we've all become disconnected from that has far more power than
yes,
we allow,
absolutely.
than we listen to or work with. That could
How
help
did Emma
influence
find?
everything.
How did Emma find me? Like that
Exactly.
wasn't nuts and bolts, and she didn't have a spreadsheet.
No.
Well, do you know what I mean? It's like that was not orchestrated by logical, because my mindset at the time, I had looked at these things. Oh God, wouldn't it be nice to have someone that just came for a week, and you know? And I thought that's not available to me.
Yeah.
Emma emails me not once but twice and goes, "Now hang on a minute, listen to what I have to say." And I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
oh." And
You
the
read it.
universe sent me Emma, because if they'd sent me someone else, I'd have been like, oh, you know, you're just all business and marketing and I'm not interested. They send me someone who speaks my language.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you read it. That's you. And there's some credit. The guides are like going, and give yourself some credit. You read that second email.
Mhm.
You had
And
her come over.
I responded politely because I'm essentially, I could see it was written to me. It wasn't just a,
Yeah.
yeah, and I thought, you know, courtesy, thanks very much, but no thanks. And she went,
Yeah.
oh no, you don't understand. And that's
Mhm.
what I mean. And she's like, I would love to come and speak to you. And I looked at my diary and went, well, I'm free tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And she went, well, would 1:30 be okay? Other than that, it would have to be next week. I couldn't have waited that long. I'd have gone fucking stir
Oh
crazy
yeah.
because I was like, so anyway, I had another anyway, it's still early days and I am who I am and I will still have to do a spreadsheet. Um,
But as long as you're aware that you're still, I'm still going to do the spreadsheet. I see you, Bobcat. I'm still going to do the spreadsheet. I'm going to
I don't
allow
know
the
what a
spreadsheet.
bobcat is. Was that somebody in the community? Was that a bobcat? Somebody sent a picture of a cat in Be Open. It
Oh,
looked big.
oh my God.
It's the
That's
size of
another
a small
sign,
dog.
Kate. Yes. In our
Is it?
community, there was
Okay.
somebody who she
Oh
lives in
yeah.
Florida. There's a bobcat.
So just to finish off then,
Yeah.
because since
I need
we
to come
have the
back to trust. Oh, go ahead.
that, sorry.
I have to come back to trust, but go ahead.
Yes. Well, while we've got your guides there,
Yeah.
so part of the anxiety about it is I've never been open in winter before, right? Because we were just shut because of COVID, and then last year I shut because I was exhausted because I had been so busy. Not
Yeah.
true this year, so I'm still open. I have physical issues when it freezes, which I had not anticipated because I wasn't open, and that is the outside tap doesn't work. I can't fill the hot tub when
Oh,
it's below freezing. I sort of mentioned it to Emma and was saying, you know, this is something I hadn't really thought about, but you know, there are things I can do. I can get a cover for it. I thought I can actually keep the hose inside the house
mm-hmm.
so that that doesn't freeze, and then it's just the tap. But now I've discovered that actually the drain is frozen, so I can't, even though I do all those things like that. So here's the thing: there's a level of trust there. That's the stuff that keeps me up at night. What if I commit to booking through another? Because in Airbnb, for example, I think I still have the option to go back to them and say it's frozen. we won't have the hot tub, and I can offer them their money back. I can't offer them Airbnb's money back, but I can offer them my money back. As in to say, if you no longer want to come because you can't use that sort of thing. And this is where I fall down. Again, am I overthinking this, or is this a legitimate concern? Do I just go, I'll shut for winter and let's see how it goes, and then see if I can find other options in the meantime? It's just things like that that really freak me out, where there is a practical element, because I know the universe can, I know I'm overthinking this, I know the universe can find ways to fix this, but it's a level of trust I feel uncomfortable with, to go, oh, well, we'll just see what the weather's like.
Yeah. So Bobcat being the mystery, right? And it is interesting that in our intuitive community, there was a Bobcat that was talked about.
Huge.
Yeah.
It's not that big, wasn't it? I mean, it was,
yeah, they're big. I think lynx, which was what we had in Alaska, either the same size or bigger. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, the same type of thing. But yes, big. You don't want to tangle with one, I don't think. What was I going to say? Anyway, but Bobcat, mystery of life. So the guides are saying, and they're sharing with me in the experience, when I have a situation where it's like, but I can't. Well, when I let go, I have one guide that's all she does is help me let go. And she's showing me that fall back when you let go. Who's not to say that a solution won't present itself? The ability to just say, okay, I'm going to try. Help me out, universe. Help me out, Bobcat. You can even ask Bobcat to help you out. Help me out. Like, okay, we're gonna play with this. And when stuff is frozen, we're gonna find a solution. You can talk to Emma about finding a solution as well. If the hot tub doesn't work, then that's fine. Who's not to say, though, this is what the guides are saying, that if you have more bookings and the hot tub is more in use, would possibly things not freeze because there's more heat there constantly? So it could work itself out and you don't have to worry about a thing. What would that feel like?
well, that's just it. It's so stupid. It's the same problem in a different dress, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I'm going, but it's the weather. I can't control the weather. Yeah, I know you can't control the weather. That's the whole fucking point, Kate. That's why they're giving you I know I'm bringing these issues, I'm flushing them out, because there is, I feel, a shift. I wouldn't say I have shifted, but stuff is shifting towards the what the hell approach.
Yeah.
I can't control this. And actually something else happened, just random stuff, and I go, more evidence just fucking worked out. I'm getting really freaked out about oh, actually it's okay. Oh my god. Oh, it's all these things keep happening, that I am getting more and more reassurance that it's not the end of the world, that something will resolve itself. But my brain now goes, yeah, but this is the weather and you can't control the weather, and what are you going to do if somebody shows up? Because I can fix the tap, fix the hose problem. Oh, the drainage, I hadn't thought of that. Fuck, I don't know if I can insulate. It's just,
yeah. And who's not to say that their methodology for getting bookings, it works. Let's just say it works, right? And so you'll have more solid bookings, which regardless of the price fluctuation, you have more solid, if you will, income, which means you can, if you need to invest, you can invest. It also means that if something doesn't work, you can hey, I'm sorry, this isn't working right now. Happy to give you a free bottle of champagne. Happy, whatever it may be. You can do something outside of see, Sally's here because she wants to play. So that's all. There's so much, what the guys are showing me, there's just so much meaty opportunity to play with all of this and just see if you like it. And if you, like you said earlier, if you don't, who cares? Look at her. She's going to come up and start doing the purring thing.
Well, that's, can you hear that? I think that's part of it as well, because actually they will keep it on Airbnb, but it will be under Emma, not me. So my personal account goes away.
Okay.
It takes a whole load of responsibility off me in terms of the reviews. I mean, obviously I still want reviews, but like at the moment, my Airbnb is all about my reviews. I'm so obsessed with my reviews. I have 4.98 because one bastard gave me 4 stars in my first 3 because they couldn't get the hot tub to work, which was entirely their fault.
Oh.
And they only gave me 4 stars, and that has affected me to this day to 4.98. And you know, they are, I'm obsessed. Well, I'm not obsessed with them, but that's really the background of, oh my God, what happens if it goes wrong? What happens? Whereas this is completely different. Like this is somebody else's problem.
I love it. I love it. And I love that Sally's on your lap and she's a cat. She has similarities to the bobcat that's in that card.
She's a Sally cat.
Yeah. Yes, she's a Sally cat. Yeah.
She doesn't care about the drain, do you?
No. No. It's like, I just want you to be happy, Mom. I just want you to trust. Yeah. So, and coming back to that, so when you were, there was something that you said. So when I actually watched this episode, there's a part where you talk about trust and my face just goes like, because my guides, that's what I'm working on it too. And trusting myself is a whole thing. And it keeps, like I said earlier, keeps coming up with animals and clients and coaching and clients. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like we're for some, I don't know. I've read that, you know, as I said, this 2023 and this greater higher good, and a huge element to do that is trust. And we're all being asked to trust in some way. And it's been showing up for me. Well, one, with getting COVID, and trusting that everything was going to be okay if I just stepped away, like you were saying, you weren't checking emails and stuff. Like I haven't, my computer was closed. I wasn't doing much. You and I tried to talk. And after we talked that day, I fell asleep for 4 hours. Wow. And I didn't realize that with that night, I tested for COVID and I had it. So I didn't even realize at the time, but like 2 weeks, completely quiet, gone, different rhythm. Wonderful.
I read your blog about that, and I completely agree with you said. I can't even remember what phrase you used. I really liked it. It was snail's pace, about we don't know what slow is.
Yes.
Like our idea of slow is not rushing. Slow actually can mean doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. And you and I have talked about, and I know I want to come back to this at some point, but you and I have talked about doing a retreat, creating a retreat for others that's a do nothing retreat. And I do think we still need to do that. This trust yourself thing, though, I've had an opportunity because I chair this board of this organization in Alaska, and I can't go into any details, but there's something that's coming that I have to deal with, that to do it, to deal with it, I have to trust that I have the skill set. I know how to handle this, that I will not, that even if I misspeak or I say something wrong, I have a really good group of people around me who we're all working together. So there's also an aspect of community and collaboration, because I think I've gone in so long in my career, like I was so nervous to say things because I thought, oh, what if I say something wrong? Because we're such a litigious society over here in the United States that it's like, if I say something wrong, oh my God, they're going to sue us. Oh my God, something's, you know, and so I would constantly stop saying what I needed to say. And I'm learning, if as long as I speak from the heart and get this out of the way, I can actually collaborate with others, realize that people have my back, realize that I'm there for a good reason, I'm there with good intentions, and allow conversations to happen so that we can move things forward. But
it's interesting.
Yeah.
As soon as you said that, I'm thinking, oh, for fuck's sake, Julie, of course you can do it, right? You know, but then when you say it's not that you don't trust yourself, it's when you're representing another body. You know, it's not that Julie can't speak for herself. You probably take that risk but then I completely understand, as soon as you go, oh my God, what if I say something out of turn and basically I've let all these people down? It's not about making a tit of myself, it's about all the repercussions of that. And you'll have had this from work as well. And I think this is so much a representation of the people that we are, if you like, because I had this guy Craig, who was he was one of the senior architects, and I sat next to him, we were good friends, and nothing ruffled him. Right? I mean, he had a brain the size of a planet, and that, but he was also a nice guy. He wasn't, you know, he was a genuinely not as as engineers go. He was a very normal, very personable, and open person. But you know, when people come and go, well, we, you know, XYZ happened, because we can always, you'll know this, we were always rushed. We were never given enough time to finish, and they'd be like, that's fine, we'll do it later, we'll fix it, it'll be fine, nobody will notice, it'll be fine. And then it would all go to shit, and they go, well, what fucking happened? You know, and I would immediately go and pull out the 900 emails that I had sent saying, this is the danger, this is a danger, this is a danger, this is a danger. Craig would just go, well, we missed a trick, didn't we? Mm. And like, I would be up to here in frenzy and sweat and justifications about how I had done the right thing and this wasn't my fault. And he'd just be like, because he had absolute belief in his own integrity and his value. Mm. So he would just, so we would always be like, be more Craig. Because he'd just be like, I missed a trick. We missed a trick. You know, it'd be like sort of like, but I mean, that actually was actually something we had. Mm-hmm. We had missed it because of all the millions of it, you know, and I'd be like, yeah, but you wanted us to do this, so, you know, it's not our fault, it's not our fault, it's not our fault. And he'd just be like that. You made the choices back then, these are the choices you made, that's what happened. Like, he just didn't fluster, and everybody would calm down. Mm-hmm. And I learned, well, I still can't do it, but like with senior manager, if someone like Craig goes along and just goes, yeah, okay, yeah, we, you know, this is what happens when you rush X, Y, Z, like no confrontation, no pushing back, no excuses. Those are the decisions we made. Mm-hmm. And they'd go, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Whereas with me, they'd get annoyed and irritated because they see me as going, oh, well, yeah, it's not my fault. Oh, yeah. So it's
and all... even in that type of situation, because like I was there's been lots of conversations around what this thing that's coming, and as I'm working with my team, I'm actually saying, here's what I know about me that could rear its head. You guys need to like flag me. No, you're fine. But it's that
your team being human team, not guide team.
Sorry, thank you. Yeah, human team. But also like playing. There's an element, which is the guides wanted me to pull out this idea of play in this understanding as you go into a situation. Like, oh, well, you know, no one's going to die. I used to tell my team at my old agency, none of this is on your tombstone. So don't get all worried about it, because who cares? No one's ever on your deathbed. No one's going to remember this. It doesn't matter. All you have to do is say, oops, sorry, oops, here's what we did.
Yeah.
And it's
but
like,
why is that so hard for us to do?
I don't know why. I know.
You and I think that we're going to get the death penalty for it.
Exactly. We think we're going to be outcasted from whatever. Yeah. And this last month, because it's really been since the middle of December to now, I had to have all these really kind of intense conversations. And I'm like, oh, well, if I just play or like follow my one guide, Dorothy is her name, that has me let go. If I just let go and just play and go, you know, just say what's on my mind. Oh, look, people actually help me. Oh, I can say what I need. And I wanted to say, I don't trust to say what I need either. That's another aspect of this trust thing that's coming up, is say what I need or what I want, and don't worry however other people will react. If they don't like it, they don't like it. I don't care. I have to get to that point, because I'm still like, oh, well, I really want to do this. Oh, you don't want to do that? Okay, well, I won't do that. Okay, then just as long as you're happy. If you're happy, my happiness can just hang out over there for another 50 years. You know, I'm at this point where it's like, no, wait a minute, but I still have this, it's still growth, because I think it's going to be perfect, and it's not. We still have to go through. Yeah.
That's so funny, because I was talking to someone on a personal level about someone in the family not being well or whatever, I can't remember, and the sister is just like not interested, tough tits. And I could, from the conversation and from me 5-10 years ago, I'd have been fucking selfish bitch. She should be in there helping. Whereas now I'm like, you go, girl. You know, it sounds so cruel, but you know, actually, these are the people. It's a really hard message, and I don't want to sound uncaring or anything like that. But actually, there are people who, you know, are able to do that, and we vilify them.
Yes.
Why aren't you sacrificing your life for your elderly mother? Well, you know, and I can come up with all the, well, you know, someone's got to do it, and you know, and you're such an evil person and all that. But the reality is, we're all here to live our lives. If you, I mean, it's nice to have compassion for other people, but if you can't or don't want, and I don't just mean on a whim, or unable, or it's not convenient, or it's going to impact your life, you actually have the right to say, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
You'd like to think you'd have some compassion to help the other person come to a compromise, but I must admit, I find a lot of conflict about that, because on the one hand I'm going, you go, girl. On the other hand I'm going, and it's fucking mugs like me that have to mop up after people like you.
Yeah. Yeah, it just creates resentment, and that continues this disconnect with community and everything that we're supposed to resolve. And like, for everything you're saying about caring, like in the example for elderly parents, like I moved from Alaska here so that I could swoop in, figure out what's going on with mom and dad, get them where they needed to be, and then at some point move back. And
how does that work out for you?
not so well, because my dad is like going, will you let me handle it? Will you let me handle it? I mean, the guy raised me. So for me to just come in and go, well, I know better, Dad, you're going to blah, blah, blah. He's like, wait a minute, where the hell did I go? And I've had friends. I had a friend in Alaska. She's actually also like my massage therapist too. And I still talk to her. And I remember once I was like all worked up. It was right after my dad had a stroke. I'd been here, I'd gone back, and I was all worked up as I went in for a session. She grabbed my hand and she said, this is their journey too. Let them have it and you do yours. And I'm like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. And I've had to learn that time and time again here. So now it's like, yeah, the things that need to be figured out with my mom got moved out. It'll happen. Now I still get worried. I'm still worried. I still want to figure it out. But it's like that playing with, what is it? How does it feel when I'm like, okay, Dad, you've got this. Okay, yeah, I hear you. All right, we're going to let that go. You know, and just sitting in that, I think Danielle would call it the sticky bit or something like that. That's where the work is, and just kind of letting it go. But yeah.
But I think I love that phrase you just said, my happiness is over there for another 50 years. Yeah, and it's finding a balance between that, because on the one hand, you know, we deserve that happiness, we deserve to speak out, and actually if you can stop worrying about how other people are going to react to what you have to say, you know, because they're really the same thing, aren't they? When you're like, basically when you say, if I say something wrong, what you're saying is, if that person misunderstands me and takes it the wrong way, and again, that's all on them.
Exactly. That's so hard to learn. Yeah.
And yet you're like, you know, it's just, wow.
Oof, the overthinking, my God.
The overthinking, yes, and over apologizing, and there is a real theme of that for me as well, is that in our righteousness and enthusiasm to do the right thing by everybody, we're not necessarily doing the right thing. You know, there is an element in there that you're meddling with somebody else's path.
Yes.
You've got to let them make their own mistakes. You've got to, you know, and it doesn't change just because they're grown-ups and they're old and they're frail.
No. Still, I mean, how am I respecting, like I'm understanding a little bit more about elderhood and respecting your elders, which is something particularly Western American culture doesn't necessarily do. Or I should say white Western culture. Anyway, but I've been reading a lot of like indigenous writers and whatnot, anyhoozle. But how do I respect my dad if I swoop in and do it for him when he didn't ask me to? If he asks me to, or if he's incapacitated, that's a different situation. If he's not asking me to, I'm disrespecting him as my father, as a human being, as someone on a journey, I'm taking that from him. That's not cool.
And there's a difficulty there, though, is like what you say, if they become incapacitated or unable, because actually still then there's a like, what if you don't, in my situation, fortunately, it's all worked out now, but there was a point where I was no longer able to look after my mother, and I actually didn't know what else to do. Had suicide been something I would have considered? Absolutely. I mean, I'm not what suicide, but I was literally, it's like, I can no longer care for my mother. I don't know what, and it kept me, I did not know what else to do. And then my sister said, well, what if she moves down south and I look after her? Like, again, that option had never been available to me. I was like, what? Like, really? And in retrospect, I get really scared looking back on that, because even I can feel like I want to cry even just thinking about that, because at that point in my life, had she not said that, I don't know what my options would have been.
Yeah. Because why would we? Like sharing that with your sister, sharing that with someone in your community, that's part of this disconnect too, that we're working as the light workers that we are, that we're also helping the greater and higher good figure out, because we're trying to figure it out for ourselves. So, yeah.
Well, we covered a lot.
I know. How are you feeling? How's Bobcat working for you now? Or the bee? The guides are going, don't forget the
On
bee.
the one hand, I know that I'm going to do this, and now I'm just more worried about the ice, which will come and go. There are,
Ice melts.
But what if somebody shows up and I can't fill a hot? No, but that it's like it is a thing. It's not just we're worried about.
Right. But
like
Kate is lovely. Kate is lovely, and she's a lovely hostess.
And she can't, and we've booked a hot tub and we can't use it because the plug's frozen. It's in Scotland. I should.
So you ply them with alcohol and chocolate. I don't know. That's what I would take. I'd totally take the champagne. I don't know. Emma will know.
I guess the thing is, it doesn't actually happen often in Scotland. It's happened. It's been over the last few days, and then a couple of weeks ago, but like the year before.
No.
Very rarely is it below zero for any length of time, but it's because it's so unpredictable. I can't work around it. And then there's another bit of me that goes, well, maybe I should take 4 months off a year to do other things.
And Emma can help you plot all of that, possibly.
Possibly. I am going to not rush the decision. No, I don't mean I know I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't have to open immediately.
No.
I can take, because there's another thing. So, oh my God, what if I'm full and I'm never going to have time to paint the balcony and paint this, because obviously it's all weather dependent and that. But I just need to chill about the whole thing. I need to chill out in the same way. It's all the same thing. You worrying about saying the wrong thing, letting people down. Me worrying that something won't work out and it'll be my fault and I will have let someone down. It's all about that. So if you just go, nah, I did what I could.
Yeah.
What is the worst that's going to happen? I mean,
what?
Maybe I need to think about that. It just fills me with horror.
Well, yeah.
Letting someone down.
So someone's upset. That's their reaction, right? That's their thing, not yours. Most people are understanding, I believe.
Yeah, that's also true, because I've got all worried about insurance and stuff like that, because they don't offer this, like Airbnb offer you millions of pounds insurance, whether it ever comes to anything, I don't know. What has actually happened in the 3 years that I've been open? Absolutely nothing. Somebody stained a sheet on all occasions. They have offered to pay. I've never had anyone do any damage at all. And yet this sort of thing that keeps me awake at night when I've got my spreadsheet out.
Yeah, because
it actually hasn't happened.
Yeah, because your brain still wants to have a say.
It wants control, and maybe that's what the ice is all about. It's like, okay, so you can have your spreadsheet and you can get your comfort from that, but I'm going to give you a challenge that you can't put in a spreadsheet, and that's the weather.
Yeah.
And do your guides say that's what's happening here? No,
you're just giving yourself another excuse.
No. I mean, that things are coming up that just are going to have to, that my level of trust is going to have to be pushed and pushed and pushed.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Because like I say, I can make myself comfortable about the other things with a spreadsheet and with, negotiation with Emma. But with the Bobcat, no matter what, the appearance of Bobcat spirit is a sign you're being called to trust, even when what is revealed does not agree with your need for intellectual certainty.
Yeah.
Because I cannot predict the weather.
Yeah. So like they're showing me like they have like this is all your thoughts, right? And this in here is your head. And so like you start to lift one like, well, there's Emma. And then your head is like going ice. You're like, well, I could do this. No, spreadsheet. It's like you start to lift it and then your brain's starting to find another way to smack it down. And so it's a practice. It's a practice. Yeah,
it is. And that's what the Mel Robbins thing is all about, the 5 second. I'm just looking at it. 5 second rule. I think she did 10 seconds. And also my friend Carol had sent me a podcast that I've been like just hadn't looked at all, and then I suddenly looked at it, I was like, oh my god, she's sent me about 4, I haven't, and I listened to it, exactly the same thing, can't remember what his name was, and he was basically saying if a decision, if you feel like that, like you want to make a decision, make it. If you have to procrastinate over it, or if you have to do stuff around it, it's not right.
Yeah.
But you have to make the decision and leave it alone, because you can always, if you start picking over it again, that's when all the other shit comes in.
Yeah.
So
and this gets tighter. Like you can see now my fingers are like, yeah. Yeah. Kate, I have to tell you, this is so interesting. So I have my phone I have one of those wallet things that sits over the top of my phone, so I can't see the screen, but I have it open just so I can, if I need to check the time, just so we don't like, create the longest episode ever. However, so I subscribe to Channing Nicholson. I think it's Nicholson. She's an astrologer, lover. Anyway, I have her app and I just got this notification and it says the sun is conjunct and P, and I think it means Pluto. The sun is conjunct Pluto. Radical transformation starts small. Be the one to reach out first. But it was the small word that caught my attention. Like this practice thing, it starts small. I know. Just a thought.
Longest journey starts with a single step.
Yes. And they can be the babiest of baby steps.
Oh, there's some other big philosopher that said that as well. It's like greatness isn't this big dun 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 that we all think it is. That even the most spiritual or powerful people in the that they still make coffee in the morning, they still get up and have a shit, they're still doing everyday mundane stuff. Everybody's doing stuff.
Yeah.
When you're a great, magnificent person, it's not all about accolade. There is still all the little facets of daily life and how you manage them.
Yeah.
I think we've talked that amazingly, Julie.
I feel better. How about you?
Yes, I do. I do sense, it started with the Tesco's thing, if you remember. It's like I'm manifesting problems and then they're okay, and I'm manifesting problem, then it's okay, and they are different. I feel like it's a journey.
Yeah.
As in, I am trusting to some level, but then there's
yeah,
and that's what this ice thing is, because actually yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
maybe that needs to happen. Maybe someone needs to come and stay, and I'll go, oh fuck, I'm sorry, I don't have any firewood, because I've been through the whole firewood thing. And then Mr. Firewood, I saw him the other day because I can't get firewood at the moment, and he was like, I will never see you struggle, Kate. He says, I know you're a business. So I'm like, oh yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Everything is working out for me, despite me trying really hard to complain that it's not. All the evidence I have, the only problems I have, Julie, are potential things that could go wrong in the future. As my friend Kathy says, which I think is a really interesting thing today. So you're making pictures in your head about how things might go wrong. Yeah, that's exactly what I do.
Yeah, and that's a lot of energy if you think about it. Like all that energy spent on how things could go wrong, and then they rarely materialize in that way. And
but in the meantime, I've been like we have this, the Tasmanian Devil Rat is a cartoon thing, and you've been like,
yeah,
and then
nothing. And I love how your firewood guy is like the bee energy. the community. I'm not going to let you suffer. I'm not going to let you not be without it. I understand. How wonderful. Yeah.
He says we've always got something lying around. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whereas I was like, I don't want to ask for special treatment. I don't want, I'm gonna have to go and buy wood from Ukraine because I can't get wood from Scotland. Oh, it's the whole thing.
The whole thing. And ice melts.
Ice does melt.
Mhm.
Yeah. I still might get some insulation around the pipes that I can reach.
Why not? Yeah. Why not?
That was lovely, Julie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Woohoo. Thanks for
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
All that light we're making.
Awesome.
Is that us?
It's us.
Well, thank you for listening to all of that. Actually, yes, lots of aspects, and I'm sure that there's lots of things that hopefully that you can relate to. I'm not sure that we are all a shining example of how to manage it, but at least you're not alone in these issues. But I think it's quite interesting that nearly all these issues actually come down to one or 2 points: not trusting, fear of letting people down, etc., all of those things. So I am Kate Fogger. This is Julie Hurt, and together we are making light, and we would love to have more subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. You can do it here. You can also follow us on Facebook, where you'll get notified of new episodes, and on Instagram as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please do subscribe, and please do forward it on to your friends. I'm not sure where we were with our record of what we were aiming for. We'll need to set another goal, but we would very much like for other people to be able to find us. So thank you for watching.